On this Ram 1500DT with the 3.6 Pentastar P0401 is an EGR system performance fault. In plain language, the PCM may be commanding EGR flow and not seeing the fuel trim reaction it expects. The customer may only have a MIL, and the broad fault areas can include restricted EGR flow and EGR system leak, the EGR valve assembly, or related connector and control concerns. It helps to understand what the PCM is working with. The EGR valve shaft moves approximately 5.0 mm from fully closed to fully open. During opening, typical peak current draw is approximately 6.0 amps, and after the valve opens, duty cycle is adjusted so typical average current draw is approximately 0.5 amps while holding the valve open. The position sensor is a typical 3-wire sensor with a 5-volt supply, sensor signal, and sensor ground circuit. Across the full shaft travel, the position sensor reading changes approximately 3.9 volts, and during normal operation the signal voltage ranges between approximately 0.5 volts closed and 4.3 volts open. The monitor is looking at this after engine run time is longer than 2 minutes. Coolant temperature is above 158 degrees F, 70 degrees C, and the vehicle is in slight acceleration or steady driving. During slight acceleration, the PCM turns on the EGR valve and watches the fuel trim response. If that expected response is missing, it sets the fault. Start by reading codes in all electronic control units. Record the codes and the environmental data and save a vehicle scan report with the related recorded data. Then clear all codes. Turn the ignition off for a minimum of 10.0 seconds, turn it back on, and operate the vehicle under the same kind of conditions that set the fault. Use the captured data and the monitor conditions to guide that drive. After that, read the codes again. If P0401 returns, continue into the active diagnostic path. If it does not return, do not force a repair yet. Move into the repair history check. When the code does not come back during the retest, check whether the vehicle has had an EGR valve performance fault within the past 90 days. If it has, what happened on that previous visit matters. If the EGR valve was cleaned before, verify the connector is fully seated and inspect the connector terminals for pushed out, corroded, or spread terminals that could cause a poor or intermittent connection. If the connector checks good, the path supports replacing the EGR valve assembly. After replacing or cleaning the valve, run the EGR valve replaced routine with the scan tool so the zero learn position is reset. If that routine is skipped, it can create a false failure and set a related EGR position fault. Then verify the repair. If the previous visit replaced the valve, start the same way. Confirm the connector is fully connected and the terminals are not pushed out, corroded, or spread. If the connector is good, clean the valve by running MOPR combustion chamber cleaner through the engine. Then run the EGR valve replaced routine, test drive the vehicle, and confirm the fault does not return. If it stays gone, check the engine for fuel or air handling issues that can create excessive soot or carbon buildup, then verify the repair. If there is no recent EGR performance repair history, the path treats this as a completed intermittent style check. Still verify the connector is fully seated and the terminals are in good shape. The valve may have had temporary carbon or soot buildup, so clean it by running MOPR combustion chamber cleaner through the engine. Run the EGR valve replaced routine, test drive it, confirm the code does not return, and then verify the repair. If P0401 returns after clearing and reproducing the operating conditions, go back to the recorded codes and check for EGR valve position sensor or EGR valve control circuit faults. If those are present, diagnose those circuit or position faults first. Do not skip past them and chase flow until the related EGR electrical side has been addressed. If there are no EGR position sensor or EGR control circuit faults present, continue to the leak inspection. With the ignition off, visually inspect the entire EGR system for signs of leakage. Look closely for soot around mounting surfaces and connection points. If you find signs of an EGR system leak, repair the leak, test drive the vehicle, and confirm P0401 does not return. Then verify the repair. If there are no signs of leakage, move on to inspecting the valve itself. With the ignition off, remove the EGR valve assembly. Visually inspect the valve stem, disc, and passages for damage or excessive carbon and soot buildup. If the valve shows excessive carbon or soot, clean it and reinstall the EGR valve assembly. After cleaning, run the EGR valve replaced routine with the scan tool to reset the zero learn position. Test drive the vehicle, confirm P0401 does not return, and verify the repair. If the EGR valve does not show excessive carbon or soot buildup, the path supports replacing the EGR valve assembly. After replacement, run the EGR valve replaced routine and verify the repair. The key point here is that cleaning or replacing the valve both require that routine afterward. Otherwise, the learned zero position can be wrong and create a false EGR position-related failure. The clean diagnostic path for P0401 is capture the fault data, clear and reproduce it, separate intermittent history from an active failure, handle any related EGR electrical faults first, then check for leaks, carbon restriction, and the valve assembly in that order. Keep verification separate from testing, and always confirm the code stays gone after the repair. For more diagnostic training, visit stepdiagnostics.com.